in exchange for serving in the Ottoman military as the Sultan's personal guard, and in the Ottoman court, the Ottoman janissaries were given many privileges and rights. These privileges included vast wealth, an elite status in society, and immense political power. However, over time, the janissaries abused their political power to further increase their wealth, ultimately leading to their disbandment in 1806 by Sultan Mahmud II. In short term, disbanding their primary military force proved harmful to the empire's longevity, causing the Ottomans' downfall after World War I. Later, the now destroyed Ottoman Empire was split up by the victors of war, and the borders drawn ignored the cultural borders already in place, leading to frequent border disputes throughout the Middle East. Founded in 1383 by Ottoman Sultan Murad I, the janissaries were elites in the Ottoman coal system. Initially, they were primarily Christian and Jewish boys, aged 13 through 17, with a low status in the empire. Claimed as tributes from the Ottomans' conquests, this low status meant that they had few rights in the empire. The janissaries were subject to harsh training and assimilation into the Ottoman society and the Islamic religion. This training made the janissary elites in the Ottoman society feared for their military prowess in much of Eastern Europe and the northern Middle East, highly loyal to their empire and sultan. Their loyalty gave them many privileges and rights, including high wages, an elite social status, and great political power. Murad I immediately put them to work, using their might to conquer most of the Balkans, and his successor, Bayezid I, used their power to conquer the rest of the Balkans during his short 13-year reign. These conquests stopped during the Ottoman interregnum from 1402 to 1413 and were brought back in full force by Mehmed II during the siege of Constantinople in 1453. Mehmed II used gunpowder, a newly acquired good bought off traders along the Silk Road, to blow away the wall surrounding the great city, a feat that had never been done before. This feat allowed him to conquer the city and claim it as the new capital of the Ottoman Empire, Istanbul. Istanbul quickly grew into one of the world's most influential cities. Along with other cities in the Ottoman Empire, like Bursa and Izmir, the capital displayed the might of the Ottomans, both in its grand architecture and influence on the world. Many of the world trade routes went through this city and other parts of the Ottoman Empire, making it crucial in the trading of goods throughout the entire Western world. Furthermore, the Ottoman Empire's conquests began to stagnate at this time, with the Kingdom of Austria and the Holy Roman Empire proving too durable for the Ottoman military. Seeking to avoid their troubles in Europe, the Ottomans turned their attention towards the other major gunpowder empire that bordered them, the Safavids. However, the Safavids proved to be far weaker than the Ottomans, leading to their defeat, which propelled the Ottomans into northern Africa, which they conquered with relative ease, considering that it was underdeveloped at the time. Now, with the Sahara Desert in the south, the Safavids and Mughals in the east, and the Holy Roman Empire and the Kingdom of Austria to the northwest, the Ottoman Empire reached the peak of its size. The Ottomans never forged a strong navy, and with the Age of Exploration emphasizing the importance of a navy to bring access to the transoceanic silver trade, the Ottoman Empire began to lose its influence throughout the globe. This lack of warring and raiding pulled the janissaries off the front line, leading to them taking up almost permanent residence in Istanbul, where they primarily worked in the Ottoman court. The janissaries used their right to political power as administrators of the city to rebel whenever they felt as if they were being wronged. This happened in 1525, 1589, and 1591. During all of these rebellions, they demanded higher salaries and promotions, leading them to gaining power beyond what they were allowed. The janissaries arguably had more power than the Sultan, as they had the numbers and influence to take over the city whenever they felt like it. Throughout the early 17th century, the janissaries revolted on two more occasions, in 1605 and 1622. Although the 1605 rebellion proved unsuccessful, they would successfully dethrone Sultan Osman II in 1622. The rest of the 17th century proved difficult throughout the Ottoman Empire, with many of the minorities rebelling in hopes of earning better rights. These times required much from the janissaries, giving them little time to rebel, and therefore they did not. The 18th century continued with similar pacing, and once again, the janissaries would have no time to rebel. However, around the beginning of the 1800s, the Sultan sought to modernize the Ottoman military, including the Janissary Corps, who were highly against these changes. They effectively began war with the Sultan, which only ended when they were officially disbanded in 1826 by the Sultan Mahmud II. With the Janissaries gone, Istanbul became far more peaceful, as their rebellions had sparked great discourse throughout the city. However, the Ottoman Empire also lost its greatest military force. In the past, although the empire had stagnated, it managed to maintain itself thanks to the Janissaries, who could now be deployed to areas where border was shaky or rebellions were being staged. They no longer had such luxuries, and the empire lost great amounts of land as a result. This accumulated at the end of World War I, where the Ottomans would get surrounded by Great Britain, France, and Russia, ultimately causing the 600-year-old empire to fall. With the Ottomans no longer holding the Middle East together, the victors in the war would redraw the borders throughout the land. However, these borders ignored the cultural, political, and even language barriers already present. This resulted in frequent cultural wars throughout the Middle East, particularly between different religions. An example of this was the Israel-Palestine conflict, starting when the Jewish people began mass migrations back to their homeland of Israel, due to the United Nations' attempts to split the nation of Palestine into two regions, one Jewish and the other Arab. The Palestinians, taking refuge in Israel, were not pleased with the new Jewish state starting to form in their borders, which initiated frequent conflicts between the two nations. These conflicts were highly violent and resulted in frequent wars that continue to this day. Ultimately, if the Janissaries had not abused their rights, they would not have been disbanded. If they had not have been disbanded, the empire would have survived for longer. And if the empire had lasted longer, the Middle East would be a place of less frequent conflict.